Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary, Ashton. And this is our Smackdown live review. Man, this show keeps killing it, man. Wait, hold on. There we go. I had the video playing there. I forgot I had it open on Twitter. But man, Smackdown keeps killing it. I absolutely love this episode. Particularly, I want to emphasize, I love how they're handling the Cesaro angle. They're really making us want that showdown between Cesaro and Roman. I've already gone on record as saying I've wanted that particular one-on-one matchup, title or not, just for the last few years, just because I thought it would be a great in-ring matchup. To know we're getting a compelling story with it, I feel like a kid on Christmas. The mid-card is heating up. I love how they're handling Apollo. Big E's got amazing babyface fire. We know that we're getting Bayley versus Bianca at WrestleMania Backlash. And you know what? I say good. It makes the Sasha rematch more valuable in my eyes. And Bayley got slighted not even having a match at WrestleMania, so I'm cool with her getting this spot. I just think SmackDown... Oh! And before I even pass the ball, and I apologize, partner, how could I just surmise the show? How could I just go through it so quickly without saying, holy fucking hell, Aleister Black appears? And we're going to have a bit to talk about with that vignette. Dude, you've said that SmackDown's the best U.S. wrestling show right now. I think it keeps the crown tonight. I'm just loving how it uses its entire roster. The way that they book and handle this roster from top to bottom really does harken me back to the Ruthless Aggression era. It really does. I don't know who the new SmackDown 6 would be. I mean, obviously Roman, I think, would be one of them because of just how compelling he is.
I would say Roman, the four guys in the opening tag match tonight, and Owens.
Yeah, that sounds about right to me. But enough from me, man, because we have plenty of time to gush about this show. And God knows we already have enough content as it is, you and I, but I'd like to soak in this a little bit. How'd you feel about this SmackDown tonight?
Well, and what I was going to say is really you could make an argument that it's actually the SmackDown 10, because you take those six guys, you add in Sami Zayn, you add in Apollo Crews, you add in Big E, and you add in Nakamura. We've got a SmackDown 10, effectively.
Yeah, absolutely,
and that's not even counting the insanely talented women at the top of the women's division, Sasha, Bianca, and Bayley.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Yeah. For sure.
It's a pretty special moment in time, and you just know that come October, they're going to do everything in their power to ruin it.
Yeah. Anymore, though, I have faith that every couple cycles, not like every year, maybe it'll even take 2, maybe even 3 years, but we always come back to a golden period we just like basking in. And I say bask, and I do miss Keith Lee, but...
Yeah. Because, like, you think about it, it's like, you know, late 2011, early 2012... late 2016, early 2017, and now just recently, like late 2020, early 2021. It's like an every 4 or 5 years thing.
And bro, think about it like this. Now, this is purely conjecture on my part. I cannot stress that enough. But if Roderick Strong does go to SmackDown, that's another workhorse on their fucking roster.
That's a big if, but it would definitely be a boon.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. But anyway, give us your overall thoughts on tonight's episode of SmackDown, though.
It was a fun episode. It felt a lot like a filler episode, but it was fun. I appreciate that we actually got an Intercontinental Championship match. I really don't like what's going on in the tag division. I just love Alpha Academy, though, so that kind of satiates me, kind of placates me in a way as far as the tag team wrestling goes. The women's division, I am beyond stoked for the women's championship match that we're going to be getting at WrestleMania Backlash. And the men's division is just ridiculously stacked. Like, I would go as far as to say that SmackDown has the best singles men's roster in the U.S., maybe just barely losing out to AEW, who really overly emphasizes their men's singles division and their tag division. But, like, man, the depth is absolutely insane. And the thing is, like, there isn't a single dude in this singles division that can't just fucking go in the ring. Roman is so good. Jey Uso's been amazing. Bryan is incredible. Cesaro's incredible. Rollins is incredible. Big E is damn good in the ring. Apollo is great in like everyone. every one of the dudes that I mentioned in the new quote-unquote Smackdown 10, they're there for a reason. They're so good in the ring. They're so good at wrestling.
Yes, indeed. I guess I only have one question for you before we formally get into the review. You said at the start, and I just found it funny because it was in direct contrast with Foster's opening statement in the chat, that it kind of felt like a filler episode for you. Is that because in your mind it didn't do a lot to establish a lot of SmackDown angles outside of Bianca Bayley for WrestleMania Backlash?
Yes. Well, yeah, that really, to me, the only reason I say that it feels like a filler episode is because even though there was a lot of entertaining stuff, being entertaining doesn't mean it's substantial, and this didn't feel like a substantial episode of SmackDown. I think we already knew about Bayley Bianca before the episode started, so that's not really any progression, just hearing that it's official, because we already knew it was official. Aleister Black, I think, is the only real development that happened all night in my eyes.
Yeah, that makes sense. I will say, though, did you want to talk about substantial next week's episode with the way they laid the groundwork tonight? I mean, we got Big E versus Apollo for the IC title and Roman versus Bryan for the Universal title. And if Bryan loses, it seems like he's going to have to leave SmackDown. So this could be the start of him just really becoming a part-time guy. Which again, though,
dude, I think that kind of harkens to this whole idea that they're holding off until October to do a proper draft / shakeup. But they're doing things to shake up the rosters already right now. We just saw, I think last week, I mean, first of all the releases, but then second of all, last week, we got the news, or it might have even been earlier this week, that Reckoning and Slapjack, Mia Yim and Shane Thorne, were moved to SmackDown on the roster page. And there's a very strong chance now that Daniel Bryan will be moved to Raw. So that's all like little mini movements going on the roster that just kind of keep things a little more interesting, that isn't a full draft. And I think that we needed at least this much. If not really, I would like to get more than this.
For sure. All right, I can tell this is going to be a good episode tonight. I'm feeling it. So let's get into our first segment, Heat of the Night. If I had any of the pickiest of nits, and I really do say it's the pickiest because the dude fucking kills it in a spot every time, and by the end of the show, it did make sense. When Bryan came out on behalf of Cesaro in the opening segment, I was really hoping it'd be Nakamura, because we know Cesaro and Nakamura, they have that friendship. They are former tag team champions, but man, Bryan really put him over tonight. I just would have liked if Nakamura could have gotten to share in Cesaro's development in this story, given that they are friends. They've had a great run as a tag team, but again, it's pickiest of nits because it's Daniel Bryan, and he fucking killed it tonight, putting Cesaro over. And really, depending on how next week goes, he could be getting out of the way completely so that we can really emphasize the Cesaro-Roman story. I don't know, dude. Part of me even thinks, and I know I've seen some Cesaro fans say this, some Cesaro fans really want to see him get built up more first because they're like, oh, if he just gets the shot at Backlash, we know he's going to lose. But if you tease this out to even SummerSlam, it really makes you think Cesaro might actually pull this shit off.
Dude,
so
here's
I wonder
if
WWE has more thought.
What if they're saving the Cesaro title shot for Money in the Bank so that Cesaro himself isn't in the Money in the Bank match, and there isn't a huge group of ravenous fans that get pissed off when he doesn't win the briefcase?
That could be as well, man.
Because we've seen them do shit like that before. Like, for example, 2014, I want to say, Royal Rumble, Daniel Bryan wasn't even in the Rumble when he should have been because he had the match with Bray Wyatt earlier on in the night. Like, they will do that. They will put the guy that they think the entire crowd is going to want to win the big title shot match in another match on the lower card, even if it is a championship match, just to satiate and placate the fans and get them to shut the hell up about it.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point, man. I never really thought about that, but you might be onto something there.
So that's my prediction. I think Cesaro gets his Universal Championship opportunity at Money in the Bank.
All right, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I only brought that up because I feel like WWE is kind of having a similar mindset themselves of like, we don't want to shotgun this, which I like. Because you know what? I can understand that concern. I think we're all really happy for Cesaro of the success that he's been having lately. But I think if you and I were to do a preview and predictions for WrestleMania Backlash tomorrow and Cesaro Roman was the marquee, we would just say easy pick for Roman. However, if they would save it to a SummerSlam especially, because Money in the Bank I still think odds are Roman, you definitely get me waffling a little bit at that point. I'm not going to lie.
Speaking of Money in the Bank, tonight made me really want Big E to win Money in the Bank.
Dude, you know I get psyched for it every year. I mean, they break my heart every fucking year lately, but I'm still thinking Jey Uso's a favorite, but we'll have to fucking see, man, because I could see Big E. I could see Owens bouncing back.
I feel like Roman would be dodging the shit out of him and ducking him and like really just putting over how much of an actual threat Big E is, and like really good at playing the like terrified that this good dude is going to come out of nowhere and just obliterate him.
Yeah. Because Big E's got that fire, man. You know, Roman.
Because I just get this vibe that Big E is like, his character over the summer is going to be like this underappreciated, overlooked monster. Like he is, I feel like he, just from a physical and imposing standpoint, he is one of the scariest dudes in the entire company, but nobody ever treats him like that because he's always happy. He's always got a smile on his face. He puts entertainment first. But if he decides that he wants to go after that Universal Championship and he really like presses Roman on it, I think Roman's gonna shit his pants, dude. Like I think he's gonna be horrified of him.
I would have to agree with you, man. I would have to agree with you. I guess what you're essentially saying, and I would agree, it's like when Big E has that like Daniel Bryan moment that, you know, Bryan just got done having, where it's like, you know, I'm happy to have a good time. I'm happy to put over other guys, but I'm pretty fucking great. So like, what if I was Universal Champion?
Yeah, kind of.
Wait, what?
Yep.
Wait, what?
Yeah, exactly. That's Roman's reaction. He's just like, wait, you two now? God damn it.
Yeah. He's trying to thin the fucking herd. But yeah, man, just the pickiest nits for me. Just wanted Nakamura to share in that. I don't even know how we got off on this. Let me just ask you again in case I didn't ask. Do you have any heats tonight or nitpicks you want to air out here?
I don't, but I don't want to stop talking about this right now. You know what really pisses me off about Money in the Bank now?
What's that?
I wish we would go back to having 2 ladder matches separate for each brand.
Yeah, because we're not doing that. I would love to
just have a simple 6-man ladder match of SmackDown only for Roman's Money in the Bank, and it's all dudes that have had beef with him in the past. It would be Bryan, Uso, Big E, obviously, Kevin Owens, Edge, and fucking, who am I forgetting? Nakamura. That's perfect. Those 6 guys should be the Money in the Bank field right there. But of course, because it's just both brands, there's only going to be 4 guys, or maybe even 3 from SmackDown, and then 4, or again, maybe 3 from Raw. And it's just like, it's too crowded. I want to be able to focus more on one brand at a time. I would love just those 6 dudes to be in the Money in the Bank because they all have a reason and a storyline in a feud with Roman. And I would just love that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to acknowledge this because, you know, when I was making up food tonight, I had my tablet on to SmackDown so I wouldn't miss a second of it. And I had the exact thought cross my mind just as some fantasy booking. Foster said, what if Cesaro beats Roman at Money in the Bank? Jay cashes in and Roman wants Jay to lay down and he doesn't. Not sure if I like that, but it's an idea. Foster, again, I had the same idea in my head. I don't necessarily like it either for a lot of reasons we won't get into because that's purely fantasy booking. But that's what I love about the next couple months, particularly on the SmackDown side of things, before the roster gets fucked up. Like, you've got a key main event player that's perfect in his fucking spot in Roman that, like, can't fucking miss. And you've got a slew of upper mid-card guys that if you turned up the heat just a little, they are main event made.
Yes.
I love that. I think that is the sign of a robust and healthy brand.
Yes.
When you've got those guys on hand, it's like, hey, your turn, main event guy. Really, it's funny because SmackDown, in a way, is a microcosm of what we want the whole WWE to be, just in general. And, like, SmackDown's just like, yeah, we got it. Because, dude, if like 2 months from now, and I know that's, like, kind of a small window, but let's just go with it. If 2 months from now, they were like, oh, hey, Jay, we need you to be Universal Champion for a little bit. Roman's going through some stuff, so we're going to write you to finally stand up to Roman and do it. It'd be believable because they've put that time in him, and I think he could carry the ball. I love that they have so many people ready to fucking go.
Yeah, dude.
It is amazing.
I'm having this thought now because Alex Foster said, I wonder if it'll be another cinematic this year. And that gets me to thinking, like, what if they just had 2 ladder matches, like I'm saying, one for each brand. But because Raw now has more of the supernatural elements and you've got the Fiend and stuff like that, they get the cinematic match. SmackDown gets the more traditional ladder match in the ring. And the fucking poster, because you would have to have the Fiend in the Raw ladder match, and I would assume he would win because I think they want him to be a world champion this year. You would have the Fiend lingering over the Raw guys who are all just like with their like posing with their pictures, but then you would have like a split screen on the other half would be more blue background, and you would see the 6 dudes in the SmackDown ladder match reaching up a ladder, actually actively trying to climb a real ladder to get to the briefcase. And it's like this dichotomy between the regular ladder match and this crazy, creepy Fiend cinematic shit split in half. I would love that. That would be amazing. That would make me so happy.
Yeah, Money in the Bank. Because I don't know if they're going to do a cinematic match. I've kind of had a similar thought process. Like, are they going to pull the trigger on that, or is it just going to be 2 live in-ring ladder matches? I don't know, but if they do cinematic, like, I love your idea of just kind of splitting it. You give SmackDown the traditional Money in the Bank, you go cinematic with the Raw side and have the Fiend win it.
Yeah.
That'd be very interesting.
And you could do the same thing with the women, because you have Alexa Bliss to be like the creepy cinematic, you know, story device for the women. And then again, SmackDown, it could be more based in just pro wrestling and again, like the sports type presentation, because we're on a fucking sports network, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah, exactly. Man, God, SmackDown has so many options. And WWE really has so many options as far as their pay-per-views before they can get to...
That's something I really hadn't thought about. Who's going to win the women's Money in the Bank this year?
I was talking to Nadia on Twitter. Let me plug her new handle, because I know she's back.
It's not at Vina MK anymore?
Well, it's at Vina, VINAMKC, KAYCEE. And she has either Sasha or Sonya winning, oddly enough. I have Sasha or Shayna winning Money in the Bank this year. So we will see.
That's crazy. I don't know. There's just, like, I can't imagine any of those women holding Money in the Bank. Like, I'm sitting over here thinking, like, are they going to, like, pull someone out of their asses and give it to, like, Liv Morgan or something? And you come out with Shayna, Sasha, and who else?
Well, Nadia said Sonya.
Sonya? That's out of left field and a half, isn't it? Jesus.
You know what, though? Like, I'm kind of ambivalent about Sonya as a performer still. I know she's got quite a fan base, so, you know, I submit that.
Why is Sonya Deville's fan base so rabid?
Dude, I don't know, and I don't say that in a judgmental way.
Because I feel like the people that like Sonya don't just like her, they fucking love her, and they're passionate about it. And I want to know why, because I want to, like, get in on it, because I want to like her, because she seems like a cool person. I just don't get it. I feel like her acting, the last time that she really got opportunities to kind of, you know, flex her acting muscles, she was just bad and over the top.
I will say this, though. If she were to win, character-wise, I wouldn't be opposed to it, because that would be some William Regal let me win King of the Ring in 07 shit, you know, while I'm GM. Like, she's got this assistant to Pierce. She slides herself into that spot. She gets the fucking briefcase. I think as a character beat, that'd be fucking fascinating. And, like, yeah, so I'm not opposed to that. So, yeah, I am, like you, though, and God, I'm going to sound so bad saying this even in context, I haven't given a lot of thought to the women's Money in the Bank, only because I'm so enamored with the men's main event scene right now. But, yeah, I'll be very interested.
Really on SmackDown, because neither one of us has even mentioned any Raw guys to potentially win Money in the Bank this year.
Well, fuck Raw. Like, what? No, that belongs to SmackDown.
I'm saying, though, that is like, it's not that we're only focused on the men, it's specifically the SmackDown men, because the SmackDown men's roster is ridiculous. I mean, like we said, it runs at least 10 deep, whereas the SmackDown women's roster is 3 deep.
Yeah.
It literally is just Sasha, Bayley, Bianca, and everyone else, like, is either not doing anything or just sucks. Like, Ruby and Liv are amazing, but they're not being given anything to do. And then, like, who else is there? Natalya and Tamina. And, like, Tamina had a good match tonight. I was actually pretty surprised and impressed by her. But, like, that's it. That's the whole SmackDown women's roster, I feel like. Oh, and Carmella. And again, like, she's kind of not great.
Right. Yeah, man. I don't know. You're getting me even more hype for Money in the Bank now. We haven't even had Backlash yet. So I've got to calm down, because I'm thinking about those ladder matches, and I'm like, man, they could really do something great this year. I feel like I said the same thing last year, and I say it every year. Yeah. But we'll see what cards they play. We'll see what cards they play. In the meantime, let us get into our Friday night Smackdown review. And we open with Cesaro just in the ring. He's got a mic. He's about to talk again. But instead of being walked out on, he just gets interrupted by Seth Rollins. And Rollins, more or less, again, reiterates, this isn't over until I say it's over. He congratulates Cesaro on reaching his potential, winning a huge singles match at WrestleMania. But why did that happen, Cesaro, huh? Why did you finally reach your potential? It's because of me. It's because you were in the ring with the new Mr. WrestleMania. So Seth is essentially putting himself over. I'm the reason you succeeded. Thank me. Where are my thanks, huh? Where are my thanks? And then again, he says, this isn't over until I say it's over. Then, he continues to talk a little trash to Cesaro. Jey Uso comes out. Jey, of course, is just popping off. You can't beat Roman Reigns. You couldn't beat me. You can't beat Seth again. Seth's making some points. And he's about to rush the ring and pick up business with Cesaro. Seth stops him, and he's like, hey. Look, let's be smart about this, right? You take that side, I'll take this side, and we get him. We get our chance, we jump him. And it's like, all right, Uso. And they go, and they divvy up the ring. And then I figured we'd see either him or Edge tonight. Brian, again, his music does hit. I was half expecting Nakamura, to be honest. Didn't get it. Brian hits the ring. He comes in, Mike, and says, whoa. What's happening here? Okay, so Cesaro's out here because he wants a Universal Championship match. Seth, you're angry because Cesaro beat you at WrestleMania. Oh, by the way, Seth is so salty about that fucking loss. He said, if it wasn't for Mother Nature and God with their intervention, with the rain delay, which threw me off my game, Seth said.
God. That should be every heel's excuse that lost on WrestleMania Night 1.
Absolutely. And then he also said, Cesaro, if your best day, he more or less said, if your best day coincided with my worst day, you still couldn't beat me, except he did, though. And Cesaro's and even Cesaro's like, well, are you having a good day today? Because I'm having a great day, so, let's do it. And then that's when Jey came out, and then, again, Brian comes out. He's like, oh, Cesaro, you're out here because you won a Universal Championship match. Seth, you're out here because you're angry Cesaro beat you. And Jey, I'm guessing you're out here because Roman told you to come out here. And Brian is just saying, and I came out here to make sure Cesaro gets what he deserves. And again, he really put Cesaro over. He said, Cesaro has worked harder than everybody. He's worked harder than me, worked harder than you, pointing at Seth, worked harder than Jey. And he sure as hell has worked harder than the Universal Champion Roman Reigns. And, he puts Cesaro over the moon, says that he deserves this shot, everything else, invites Roman to come out. He's like, what's going to happen? Is Roman going to come out? And they're just gonna beat us all up. You three are gonna beat us up. Well, let's do it. Then Roman comes out. He calls everybody a loser. Says, Brian, you're a WrestleMania loser. I can't believe that Cesaro would challenge him. Says to Brian, you coming out here. I told you to your face that you were gonna lose WrestleMania. What was it? What was it? It was smack 'em, stack 'em. Stuff like that. Smash them and stack them. That's what it was. It was smash, not smack. Smash them, stack them, pin them, still Universal Champion. So Roman reiterated that. And, Roman's just kind of feeling himself. He's smirking. He's projecting that image that we know he likes to project. And he's just saying, you guys handle this. You're not getting the Universal Championship match, to Cesaro. And then we go to commercial. We come back. We get a brawl between Jey and Rollins and Cesaro and Brian, which we then get, order for a tag team match, Cesaro and Brian versus Rollins and Jey. Brother, I think you got in right when this match is about to go down, so I'm assuming you saw this, right?
I saw the last, couple minutes of it. I didn't see the first chunk of it, though.
Okay.
I really just saw, the finish and then, the post-match swinging stuff.
I mean, they gave this match time. This match went through, 2 commercial breaks.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed it. I thought it had a great energy. I love the psychology of the match because they had Brian's neck being worked over and commentary, which, by the way, before I forget, honorary high spot already, Pat McAfee. He is just perfected fucking SmackDown commentary, because Cole's good at what he does. He's not exceptional. He's not going to have any quotable lines that are like, oh my God, this was incredible. But he does what he's supposed to do. He's a company guy, and you could do far worse than Michael Cole. But Pat McAfee, I think, brings so much life and personality to the headset. It's fucking beautiful. So honorary high spot to him, because both him and Cole kept talking about the concerto that Bryan suffered at Mania. And, Seth's doing like the Misawa discus forearm. I think Jay got like a neck breaker or something to Bryan. So there was a lot of offense that was focused on the neck. Cesaro looked fucking great. He did a deadlift apron plex to Jay at one point that looked beautiful. Funniest moment of the match comes when Seth walks out. And he, dude, it was full supervillain because, or I should say movie villain, because he's like, I don't need this. I'm Seth freaking Rollins. And I died.
Of course.
So that was fucking perfection. And yeah, Cesaro ultimately he pins. Actually, no, he doesn't. He tags Bryan in. Bryan gets knee plus, and he pins Jay in the ring 1, 2, 3. Which, thinking about it now and thinking about how SmackDown ended, that was a nice touch, giving Bryan the winning pin, almost as if Roman's looking at it and he's just like, okay, I can use this to avoid Cesaro and make it seem like I'm a fighting champion at the same time. Good shit. I'm guessing since you saw the last few minutes, there were no moments that really stuck out to you that you want to talk about?
No, mostly what stood out to me was just the post-match with the swinging of Jey Uso.
That's right, because we do get that in the post-match, and again, they're calling Roman out and taunting him. And, and just saying, like, oh, you're going to come out? I mean, Jey Uso has bailed you out of everything. Like, Bryan was so strong in his fucking spot tonight, and of course we expect nothing less.
Right.
Because he recounted the whole history of Roman's title reign really perfectly and succinctly. Like, Jey Uso has bailed you out more or less every fucking time. I think the only time he didn't bail him out was fucking Rumble, and God knows we should never leave that job to Paul Heyman again. And I'll always be salty about that. And, Cesaro swinging Jay, it was such a great spot, a very intimidating spot. Like, it's just one of those guys, like, I can do whatever the hell I want to you, and this is what I've decided to do. And Roman does a no-show. And, yeah, Roman, I know you want to talk about a rabid fan base. Roman, with this run, has developed a rabid fan base, but Roman, you kind of look like a bitch. I don't know, man. You just sat there and you just watched him get swung like how many fucking times? So, yeah, babyfaces stand tall to end this segment. And Foster saying that Jay's completely fallen apart in his promos. And yeah, he definitely seems to be high energy. And like, whoa, are you all right? Like, are you tilting right now?
Oh, dude, he is seriously giving off that, like, fucking battered wife syndrome, right? Like, he literally, like, he's screaming his way through promos nowadays. He sounds like one of those fucking army dudes that has just been beating the individuality out of him. Like, those dudes where, like, you walk up to him and you say, hello there, and he's just like, yes, sir! Like, it's just like this immediate response. It's like it's becoming a reflex for him to stand up for Roman and talk shit about his opponents. It's insane.
Absolutely, man. Fucking wild. So after that, we get Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville backstage. They're kind of discussing the Universal Championship situation. Apollo Crews interrupts. He's indignant about Big E getting another shot, after he beat him at WrestleMania. And he said, if Big E gets in this ring with me, he's going to eat another Nigerian nail, courtesy of Commander Aziz. And, he'll still be Intercontinental Champion, and what a hero he is to the people of Nigeria. And Adam Pearce says, look, when Big E is ready for his rematch and he comes back, like, yeah, he will get his match, but he's either going to face you as Intercontinental Champion or your opponent tonight, Kevin Owens. And I'm like, yeah, I still love Kevin so much. So Apollo did not seem happy about that at all. He's like, what? I don't want to face Kevin Owens. I mean, he didn't say it, but his face clearly communicated it. After that, we get Jey Uso backstage, and again, that breakdown that you and Foster are talking about, he's just like, he's sick of this. I don't care about Seth Rollins. I don't care about Cesaro. You come for the head of the table, you're going to be put down. And, Jey is very much spiraling. That's why I'm keeping a close eye on him for Money in the Bank, though. I'm telling you, if he gets added to that field, I'm really going to be having a tough time given who he's going to share the ring with. We'll have to wait and see, but I'm so psyched for that fucking pay-per-view.
You know what character in a TV show that you and I have watched in the last few months Jey reminds me of?
Who is that?
Micro's son in Punisher.
Ooh, yeah, there you go.
The way that he is just completely unhinged and the slightest little thing can make him go the fuck off. But if somebody held a knife to his throat, he'd be like, do it. Please. I want it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the vibe, dude. He fucking hates his life right now, and he's taking it out on anyone that'll let him.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Jay's character development, like I said, if he really is the one to beat Roman for the Universal title, that is a story that WWE has crafted that can compete with some of the best stuff that Stardom has done this year. And for those of you that might be relatively new to the channel or are still like kind of newish listeners, Stardom is our favorite promotion going right now, and their stories are fucking amazing. You all should subscribe to Stardom World if you haven't. And while I'm promoting things, please leave a like on this video as we're like almost midway through the review. Yeah, I only say that because, again, Stardom's done it magnificent stuff, particularly with Tam Nakano, who's been at, like, the epicenter of their best stories.
Yeah.
But, man, this Jey Uso story could really give them a run for their money. No doubt about that. Next, we get Tamina Naya Jax. Well, Reginald is back. Of course, he continues to provide problems, as we'll see. Not really much to say about the match except the finish. Reginald, I think, tries to help or does something. He kind of trips over himself. Shayna yells at him. She's like, you see the problems that you cause, whatever. Oof. And Nia's just like, Shayna, what are you doing? And then she turns around and she eats a super kick and I think a Samoan drop, and Tamina gets the win.
Can I just say, I loved Pat McAfee's commentary throughout this match. He was so good. And the thing is, like, I think he's supposed to be a heel, but he did a really good job of putting Tamina over during this match. I was impressed.
Yeah, McAfee is just amazing. It's why we call him the Giga Chad. I'm going to say something I never thought I would say, but I'm really, especially because I'm tired of the Shayna Nia act, and I think we have been for a while. If not Riot Squad, I'm rooting for Tamina on this. She has never held a championship in the company, and I think at the time when it seems like she's finally going to get one, she's doing her best work. I mean, she even got over with a portion of the crowd at WrestleMania. And, I'm rooting for her enough that even if she would have to share it with Natalya, I think I can get over it. I think I can get past it.
Yeah.
I think, it's a tag team title in a division that Vince doesn't care about, that Bayley and Sasha had to fight for.
Yep.
If that's the only championship she wins in her tenure, far worse things have happened booking-wise in wrestling. Give it to her.
She'll have both Bayley and Sasha to thank. She already has Bayley to thank for the match last year, but then she'll be able to thank both of them for making those tag titles exist.
Yeah, and it's beautiful because, Sasha was part of that Team Bad
That's
shit
right.
back in the day.
Tamina was part of Sasha's burden.
Yeah. Aw. But, yeah, good for Tamina. She's really getting the spotlight on her, and she seems to be handling the pressure. And, again, I really don't care one iota for Natalya, but I can get over it if it's just the tag titles. Better that than Natalya being a women's champion again. So after that, man, I can't wait to get to that fucking Aleister Black vignette, and we are so close. We get a Kevin Owens backstage segment. What'd you think about this, bud? I'm going to let you talk a little bit on this one.
Is this the one with him and Big E?
Yes.
Yeah, this one was cool. I think this was really what made me want Big E to win Money in the Bank, because there was like this moment where Big E was talking about my title, and like he had me convinced that he was still Intercontinental Champion for a second, and then like a minute or two later when Apollo came out and he had the title, I was like, oh shit, that's right, Apollo won it. Like there was a moment for a while there that I thought Big E was still IC champ and that this confrontation was between champion and challenger, but it turned out it was just between former champion and current challenger. And the tension was high because he was calling it my title. And then Kevin was like, oh yeah. And then Kevin made a joke about, after tonight, it's going to be my title. And they were both laughing, and then they both straight-faced, and then I laughed.
Can I just say, and I'm assuming you'll agree given your energy about this segment, this is how babyfaces should be written more often. Like we talk about, right, how just because you switch alignments doesn't mean you become friends with the other half of the locker room.
Yes.
And like, Big E, I don't even know if you caught this, and I don't know if Chad could back me up on this. I feel like Big E alluded to when Kevin Owens betrayed the New Day a few years ago. Because he called Kevin a habitual line jumper, and he said, like you did, almost like he jumped the line to get a WWE Championship match, not by winning any matches, but by betraying the New Day. And I love that. I love that, man. Like, just because Kevin Owens is a babyface now, and a fucking great one at that. Yeah. And just because Big E, is more of a serious face now, and a great fucking one at that, doesn't mean that they should just be like, now that I'm a good guy, all of those things I did don't matter. Well, did you do personal work to like be accountable? No, I switched alignments. We're good now. Get over it, bro. It's official.
I decided to start being the asshole that I've always been to other bad guys. Don't you see how this works?
Yeah, if you're still hung up about it, I'm sorry, bro. I switched alignments, therefore it officially becomes a you problem.
Yeah.
But no, we ain't doing that shit. We're just like, no, I don't like you. And I love that. I love that because whether you're a babyface,
don't all have to like each other. Heels don't all have to have like the honor amongst thieves things going on. I dig it, man. I dig it.
And I think just to put a nice little bow on it, because there is just one more thing I want to say about this, because I too really like this segment. WWE needs to catch up with the rest of modern television and cinema that both heroes and villains are allowed to have complexity. Yeah. I think for a lot of their characters, they're still really stuck in a model where it's one note, but you can see how much richer stories are and angles are when you have characters that are allowed to have memory, that are allowed to have complexity, and are allowed to have interesting dynamics. I love these two going back and forth. And I love Kevin. I mean, you're not even wrong when you're like, oh, I'm being a dick, not just to other people. Because Kevin even letting a little bit of that dickishness slip out, just laughing. Because he's like, it's going to be my title. And then they share that laugh. You know, it was good shit. I really, really enjoyed this. And yeah, like, well, I'm just looking at chat now. Foster said he was coming after KO, even if KO won.
I think the next thing actually was Owens versus Cruz, right?
I believe that did come next. Let me just confirm with my notes. Yes. What did you think about this match, man?
I loved it. I guess loved it a little too strong, but I did enjoy it. Really, believe it or not, the highlight to me for this match wasn't even the match. It was commentary because Sami Zayn came out. And we got Sami Zayn and Pat McAfee both on commentary. It was glorious. I loved it.
Bro, just because Sammy came out and he also made allusions to the IC title, and oh yeah, that was my other nitpick for Heat of the Night. I remember now. I hated the roll-up of Death finish. Like, I would have preferred, because Kevin gets distracted at one point by the Commander, and Apollo just rolls him up with the third. Commander Aziz, that's right. Well, yeah. And then Apollo just kind of rolls him up for the 3 count. I'm like, really? I mean, this is a guy in Kevin Owens' character. And see, this is where I say, like, I love SmackDown and I love this episode tonight, but you could still see some of the chinks in their armor, you know, the deficiencies in their game, because this was a guy in Kevin that not too long ago was instilling fear in Roman Reigns, that Roman didn't want to get back in the ring with him again. And now he's losing to roll-ups. Like, I would have even been fine if Apollo hit the Olympic Slam, you know, with the distraction to get the win, because that's been his, like, finish.
Right.
But it was just a roll-up. And I'm like, come on, man, you're really going to do Kevin like that?
You know what I want to see? I want to see a bridged Olympic Slam. You hit the Olympic Slam, you go into that neck bridge, that pin, like, oh, that'd be so sexy.
I feel like we've seen somebody do that before, and I think that'd be a really cool finish for Apollo.
It sounds like something Roderick Strong would do, but I don't think we've seen him do it anytime recently.
Yeah. Paul, did the pin at least have decent leverage? I don't remember it having such. Like, Kevin didn't really even seem stacked.
I thought that Tamina's pin on Naya had better leverage than the one that Owens got on, that Apollo got on Owens.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like, it was just, I hate fucking roll-up of doom shit. So even for as much progress as SmackDown has made, and I will sing its praises all day, especially relative to Raw and other programs in America that just don't cut the mustard, so to speak.
Ew, mustard, gross.
But it still has its problems, and it's still stuck in some mindsets that I really, really don't like. And Foster's just like, it did not. So yeah, really solid matchup though outside of the finish. But I'm glad we got here, because that was the other nitpick I had. But what I wanted to ask you, because I swear I go off on 5 different threads. I apologize to all of you for that. I know I have a problem. Is do you, Ashton, think that they may do a fatal 4-way at WrestleMania Backlash, Sammy versus Kevin versus Apollo versus Big E for the IC title, given that we're already doing Apollo versus Big E next week on SmackDown?
Yeah, that makes sense. Wait, say the 4 names again.
Sammy, Kevin, Apollo, and Big E, because Sammy did make allusions to, like, I want to get my Intercontinental title back.
Yeah, that would be perfect. That would work.
Oh, and speaking of Sammy, not only was his commentary great, you know, joining Cole and Mcafee, he literally danced over Owens' body after he got hit with the Nigerian nail post-match, because Owens does hit the stunner on Apollo, And then Aziz comes in, hits the Nigerian nail. And while Owens is just down, Sami dances. Just dances over him. Sami Zayn is fucking amazing. Like, I know, again, this is more of a fantasy booking talking point looking way far in the future, but when he does turn babyface again, because I do think that's inevitable, I hope he gets to rub shoulders with Roman, man. I really do. The guy is magic.
I'm saying this completely straight face, completely unironically. Sami Zayn might be the smartest man in all of wrestling.
You want to go further into that? I don't disagree, but I'd like you to go further into that if you don't mind.
Well, first of all, we already know that, like, he has a lot of correct opinions, like, just from Twitter and shit like that. He has his own charity. Sammy for Syria is a thing where he builds, I believe, hospitals. And then you look at him as a performer. As a babyface in NXT, he was top of the food chain. He was I would say, to this day, the best babyface that we have ever seen in NXT. Then he comes to the main roster, he kind of flounders, he has that awful segment with Bobby Lashley with the sisters and shit. But now, this dude is getting over without having to take crazy bumps. He's getting over with a personality, with a gimmick, with a fucking dance. This dude's a goddamn genius.
He is. He is. That's why, like, when he does turn babyface again, like, I want him to rub shoulders with the top talent because, like, God, it would be so fucking compelling.
And really, I should also clarify, when I say this dude's a genius, he might be a genius just generally, but I'm specifically saying within the confines of the wrestling world, this dude's a genius. Because let's be real, pro wrestling does not attract the most intelligent people. In order to become a pro wrestler, intelligence is not a requirement of the trade. Like, we're talking about a business that has people like Austin Aries and Flip Gordon and Will Ospreay in it, okay? We're not talking about a business that necessarily draws the intellectual types for the most part, specifically in the business. Like, this is not the type of place that you go because you're smart. You go there usually because you don't have many other options or because you grew up a fan. And yet, here's Sami Zayn being just an actual, genuinely smart person in the wrestling. Like, he's a fucking unicorn.
Yeah, he really is. I want to feed him sugar cubes by hand. So yeah, we got that. We get a Paul Heyman interview. Heyman is just like, I like Cesaro. I do. I love Cesaro.
It was so fucking weird.
It really was. I love Cesaro in a professional capacity, of course. And he says of all the people named Cesaro, he's the best Cesaro.
What are you doing, Paul?
Are you dying of dementia? What?
Really?
What the fuck? Foster's like, watch Sammy win Money in the Bank. Foster, June's gonna be fucking crazy. But yeah, Paul, really weird promo from him. And he says, you know, the island of relevancy is all about customer satisfaction. So at the end of the show tonight...
I really want somebody to splice that moment where Brock Lesnar says, say something stupid, Paul.
Yeah.
They showed this promo out of all the Cesaros. What the hell, Paul? You did say something stupid. What?
Yeah, Paul... I don't know what's going on with you, bruh. No judgment. You know, we all have an off day.
But Roman quoted Brock to Paul backstage, and he was like, go say something stupid.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, I gotcha.
And because I am your special counsel, I absolutely will do that for you, sir. But yeah, weird promo, weird energy. Great SmackDown, though.
Did he pat Kayla on the head?
Oh, yeah, and I think it was like, good job, kid, or whatever.
Yeah.
Something like that. Fucking boomer. After that,
a fucking weirdo.
After that, we get the Apollo Crews interview, which really gets cut short because Big E attacks, and he's like, you know, we're not done. A lot of people aren't done with other people. Seth Rollins isn't done with Cesaro. Big E ain't done with Apollo. I guess that's why we're having...
I was just going to say, dude, if people were done with each other, we wouldn't have a need for a backlash show.
Yeah, I had you covered there, man. Yeah, we had the same thought. But now we get to this.
Oh, boy.
Aleister Black is finally fucking back. I had to wait to get my food just because I didn't want to miss a moment of this. Like my food was done. I'm like, shit, because, you know, I always want to eat before we go live for a show.
Yeah.
And I always want enough time, but I'm like,
Oh, is this your rice dish?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, I had it pretty late tonight. Yeah. So, like, it's in the cooker. I hear the beep go off, and I'm just like, shut up, Black's on my TV. And, you know, I don't even want to go first, mainly because I already know how I feel.
Oh.
I'm far more curious how you feel about this. If you don't like it, man, you can be honest. You can be honest if you didn't like it.
Just listen, I am stoked beyond recognition that Aleister Black is finally back on my goddamn television, and I want the world for him. I want him to win Money in the Bank. I just want him to do everything. I want him to beat Roman Reigns. Like, fuck the stories that are in place. Give me my Aleister Black push. God damn it. Here's the problem I have, though. He's a heel, and I hate it.
God, you know, I really didn't know where you were going with the hemming and hawing, but that is just so classic you. It's like, it's everything is really good, but this one thing, and guys, I just hate it. Just do it again. Just do it again. Like, everything is so good, just change this one thing. Okay, so here's what might surprise you. I 70% agree with you. And I know that's a weird way to say it.
That's about 40% more than I expected.
Yeah. No, I 70% agree with you. And I know that's a really weird way to say it, but then again, I'm me.
You are complex.
Thank you. You know, the relationship works so much better when we're unified. But no, like, I agree with you 70%. Here's where the 70% comes from. It's Aleister Black. He's amazing. I thought the presentation of this, the aesthetic and everything, was great. I was hanging on every word because I'm like, we have been waiting for you for God knows how fucking long. And you're here now, and it's great. That 30% though, or actually no, that would be the 30%, is that I did, even though it had a heelish vibe, like the vignette. Hell, I like the vignette, and I'm pretty sure it had eugenicist undertones. Because he's like, oh, and you people, I think he even said, like, you people don't even deserve to, like, be on this earth or whatever. And I'm like, wow, really talking that Thanos shit. And yet I still love it. So clearly, again, I'm waiting a year for a therapist. Let's hurry the fuck up with that. Where I definitely agree with you. When did the year
start?
Oh God, I have a long way to go. Because I think it was either late February or even like mid-March. So yeah, we got a long way to go. Yeah, similar thoughts there, pal. The 70%, and I'll tell you why, is the heel. And it's particularly a heel at this moment in time because with him being a heel. Now, here's the thing, because I had two minds about this. Well, part of me thinks there's no way he's winning Money in the Bank as a heel, because I'm just really thinking it's going to be either a babyface year, and I know Jay isn't exactly a babyface, or somebody that's really close to Roman.
But if he would win the Money in the Bank, they would tell a babyface story with it.
Yeah, probably. Here's the only out they do have, though, if they would give Aleister the briefcase, which I am not opposed to. Is it just if they wait long enough because you have the year, and you just wait for the next babyface title holder. So that opening is there for Aleister if it's like, okay, well, this briefcase isn't meant for Roman. It's next for the next babyface champion. And we want you, Aleister, to be the one to take it off of him. That said, though, even if that were the case, with how they've mishandled Aleister so far, I really like this vignette. But all of the failings of WWE and all of the heartbreaks I have suffered under this company has taught me one segment at a time. I really like the vignette, but in our minds, like, Aleister might be the next Intercontinental Champion. You know, if Big E, like, gets it back or some shit. I don't know, but I am intrigued. He more or less says, because we keep saying the vignette, he more or less talks about how his father, I guess, you know, broke him down and rebuilt him. And this almost seems like a toxic masculinity story turned up to 20 with, like, the darker elements. Because he's like, my father wanted me to become the dragon. You know, not just kill it or whatever. And it's like, oh, so your father had an idea of who you should be, and he kind of imposed that on you, and it was some pretty dark shit. That's what you're telling me. And yeah, that's pretty intense. It's pretty intense. What did you think about the story this vignette kind of told? I know you hate the fact that he's a heel, but looking at it narratively, how do you think this black character is going to do?
Well, man, I have a hard time talking about this stuff because I am just so eternally pessimistic about the WWE with anything like this. I'm immediately concerned that Vince is going to see this as something and push it as that thing, even though maybe it was never intended to be that thing. And then because it is that thing, Vince is going to have a certain set of labels attached to Alistair that wouldn't have been otherwise. Like, anytime something's super over the top gimmicky like this, it's a red flag for me because of the way that Vince mishandles shit like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
And like, there was some stuff that Alistair was saying that kind of rang like true to the real world, like telling parents how bad they are at raising kids and stuff like that. But it was more of the vague stuff that he was right about. And once he started nailing down the specifics, it was like, oh, ew, oh shit, why? That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
The visuals were cool for sure, but this really feels to me like a desperation ploy. Like Alistair wanted out, and they basically said, "Okay, well, let's try one more thing with him and see what we can get done." And this is what they came up with. And I don't know, man. I'm really concerned that this is going to get fumbled really quickly.
Yeah, you know what, dude? Like, I ain't even gonna fight you on that, because I'll tell you, Alistair's given a lot of time to this company. And I know everybody's going to have opinions on wrestlers. Some are going to hate him. Some are going to love him. Like you, I love Alistair. I believe in Alistair Black to be a main event talent. I would say all the time when he was in NXT, you know this, you can vouch for me on this. He is a license to print money. You just got to start up the printer. Literally, that's all you got to fucking do. And somehow they spilled coffee on the printer, dropped it in a fish tank, ran it over with a 16-wheeler, and then tried to plug it in and be like, Wyatt no Burr. So, fuck you, WWE. I don't know, man. We'll have to see how it goes. Really, I don't know about you. I wish I would have taken more detailed notes on this, because I was kind of in the moment with this, and I haven't gone back to rewatch it. I want to watch it again. Just to really catch everything. This is definitely going to warrant a rewatch from me.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to have to rewatch it, too.
Yeah, and we'll have to see how I feel about it upon a rewatch. But for the moment, I mean, I liked it enough. And honestly, maybe I don't even know if I liked it because I liked it, or I liked it because, oh my God, Alistair really is getting another shot at this in the company, and we're going to see him. Which I can copulate that absolutely could have been the case, because I really missed Alistair on my TV. And I'd say I miss Andrade on my TV, but we know that he's free. And I'm just waiting for him to pick something. And God, I know I'm on the outs of New Japan right now, but I'd still love to see Andrade for the G1. So let's go. Come on, you two. Let's get it fucking done. So yeah, that was the Alistair vignette. Really, really curious about that. Definitely the eye, like, bugging out moment of the night for me is like, holy shit, you know, he's not done. They are doing something with him. Let's see how it goes. We get the old dogs interview. Fucking, they're talking about how great they are, and you know, they get asked like, who's next in line for the tag titles, because they get fielded their opinions on who's going to win between the Mysterios and Alpha Academy. Dolph goes with Alpha Academy, you know, amateur wrestlers sticking together, all that shit. Street Profits said, well, hey, you know, when we were champions, you guys got chance after chance after chance. So how about you? How about we're next in line? So, you know, even though they got that title shot, what was it, like 2 weeks ago, or maybe even last week? They're like, you know, we're not done here, because I think it was even a bit underhanded how old dogs retained the titles. And then Bayley cuts in. She just kind of makes, you know, tag champions and the Profits kind of disperse. And she keeps talking that crap about Bianca, how she's a rookie, how she's disrespectful, you know, this and that and this and that. And then Ford comes back in, and he has Bianca on speed dial. And he's like, oh, baby, you know, Bayley's talking shit about you, more or less. And Bianca's just like, oh, I'll be right over. And so then we come back from a commercial, and Bianca, you know, confronts Bayley.
This was another weird one. This also confused me, admittedly.
Yeah, like, well, it kind of confused me too, because Bianca more or less says, like, okay, Bayley, all that trash we're talking, now say it, like, I'm here. And she's like, no, well, and Bianca's like, well, you're not going to say it. And I think Bayley was more or less like, I might, and Bianca's just like, you're not going to. And then Bayley's just like, and she doesn't. At least at first she's like, I just want to tell you that I'm proud of you. You and Sasha tore it up. You know, I saw you military press her. As somebody that's been in the ring with Sasha many times, I know that's not easy to do. And just congratulations on being SmackDown Women's Champion. And, you know, really kind of gives Bianca her props. And then she leaves. Bianca has this look on her face like, oh, okay, so you didn't say anything. Well, at least you didn't say the stuff that you were saying. But then when I'm in your face, you're praising me. Bianca even goes, say, like, I'm a bit surprised because Bayley is. And then Bayley comes back and, oh, and Bianca. And then she just starts laughing. Like I didn't mean any of that. Ding dong. Hello. And then, that's that confrontation. I think it'll be a great in-ring match. And let me even see when Backlash is, because I don't remember when Backlash is. So let me Google that real quick.
Backlash is May 16th.
May 16th. Okay, so we've got a few weeks left. We've got 3 weeks left, don't we? 1.
2 days, and 3 weeks.
There you go. So yeah, that's still a decent amount of time to really do something compelling with Bianca and Bayley beyond just them being two great in-ring performers. And again, Bayley deserves this. And again, it makes the Sasha rematch all the more special if she's even going to get it. I mean, again, she was one of my picks to win the briefcase. So we'll have to see how that goes. After that, we get the Mysterios versus Alpha Academy. Any thoughts on this?
This was fun. I fucking love Otis. And like the way that when we start the match, he's like, I want him. I want a piece of him. Talking about Dominic Mysterio. I want the kid. And then, is it just me, or was there a point in this match when Otis went up to Ray and said, your kid's gonna take my load? Or Ray said, take this load.
Giggity.
I fucking love Alpha Academy, dude. Put the titles on them put the titles on them yesterday, please.
Yeah, you seem to be all about it, and I'm all about you being all about it. Oh. Yeah, I enjoyed this, dude. We've been giving a lot of props to Otis, and it's all well deserved. Make no fucking mistake about it. Can we just take 2 seconds, though, to revisit our praise of Chad Gable and what a fucking beast this dude is?
Dude, I was literally thinking about fucking American Alpha while this match was happening, and I realized that when we first saw Heavy Machinery, there was a moment that I said that Otis Dozovic, being sort of the Michaels of this, was comparable to Chad Gable in that he's like this unique personality that can go in the ring, and the other guy is just kind of this like generic athletic big guy. And now we've got both of them in the same team.
Oh, man, it's beautiful. You love to see it.
I also kind of grouped the Street Profits in there, with Montez being kind of the corresponding Michaels of his team. And, yeah, I stand by it.
Edwin's like, I had a chance to reassess, and no, I'm right.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, bingo. Nailed it.
But, yeah, what was I going to say? Oh, why I even mentioned Gable and wanting to circle back around to praising him. Dude, I love the triple belly to bellies that he does. Like the fucking hip swivels
Pat
and everything.
McAfee marked the fuck out after the second one.
Yeah, dude, that's why I love McAfee behind the booth, because you can tell he's not being fed all this shit. He's just being a fan in a professional way.
Yeah.
He's marking out in a way that doesn't put the attention on him, but if anything, augments the awesomeness of the product. God, I love Pat. Oh my God, Pat, you just beautiful. You're beautiful. Ultimately, the Mysterios do win. I guess they're doing the slipper. I really do think these guys are going to be tag team champions soon. I've been saying it, and I'm not getting my foot off the gas just because it didn't happen at WrestleMania like I thought it would. I was wrong about the time. I don't think I was wrong about the event in and of itself. But that notwithstanding, fun matchup. I agree with you, though. I would not mind Alpha Academy being the next champions. I think you do need to get a babyface in there, given that, old dogs currently are the heels. Yeah. But I hope Alpha Academy gets their nod, especially because, it's very clear after Otis won Money in the Bank, and this is not a knock on Otis at all. If anything, it's a knock on, the infrastructure behind Otis, the WWE machine. It was very clear to me they weren't ready to get behind him, even with the briefcase. That's why they fucked around with it. So if they want this to be a slow burn with him in the tag team until maybe he breaks away from Chad and goes back to being a babyface, why not give him a fucking title run? Really, they'd kill it. They'd absolutely kill it. I love their double teams. I love the energy. It's just everything's great. Everything's great with Alpha Academy. And again, it would just show that Chad has the Midas touch with fucking tag partners. God damn. So with that said, we got our main event segment. Brian and Cesaro.
Can we just stop saying he's got the Midas touch and just start calling him Chad Midas Gable?
Oh, the things that did to my body. Yeah, Not opposed to it. Not opposed to it at all. But yeah, we get Bryan and Cesaro out now. And then more or less say again, like, okay, we're out here. Roman, what's your answer? Dude, I don't know about you. I have expected either Rollins' music to hit again, because he's already said, like, it's not over until I say it's over. Or I even expected Edge's music to hit, because we already saw Bryan tonight. So I'm like, well, where's Edge now? Edge has got to be, coming from somewhere. Especially, like, depending on the ending of main event, of the main event of next week, Bryan versus Roman, because that's the thing. Roman does come out. He says, you want to challenge me? You want to challenge me? God, I love you, Paul. I just read your message in chat. And he said, you don't make challenges to the Universal Champion. The Universal Champion issues the challenges. And then he looks at Daniel Bryan and he says, the challenge is for you. And again, we get this whole thing of, like, you get one last shot. One last shot at the Universal Championship. And he comes around to, like, hey, if you lose, I never want to see you again. You disappear. You go away. You get off of SmackDown for good. And I love Cesaro here because I really wanted Bryan to actually decline it and stand by Cesaro. I didn't want him to take it and then Cesaro be like, yo, what the fuck? So I actually like how they wrote this if Bryan wasn't going to decline it.
Yeah.
Because Cesaro cuts in and he says, dude, you have to take it. Like, you have to take that. Like, God, I can't wait for Cesaro versus Roman. Man, they are working me so hard. I will cop to that 100%. They are working me so hard. Because whether Money in the Bank or even, God, if they tease this to all the way to SummerSlam, dude, if they tease it to SummerSlam, I am so fucking ready to go. I am so fucking ready for that. But I love we're
Dude,
not
I was
getting
even
it right
just
away.
thinking, I wonder if they'll do Roman Bryan at... Well, no, they're doing Roman Bryan next week, right?
That's correct, yes.
And then maybe they do Roman Edge at Backlash. And then Roman Cesaro at Money in the Bank.
Yeah. Yeah. Could be, man. Like, oh, man. Again, with Money in the Bank, I don't know. It depends on what Cesaro himself does, though, between now and then. Because, again, I do agree with Cesaro fans that, like, hell, even Seth in a way as the heel, which I know I shouldn't be agreeing with the heel, but it's like, you got one really big win. This push has just started. I would like just a little more before it's like I could even believe him, because I always want to believe the people going up against Roman, even if I ultimately know that they're not going to win. Right. Like Kevin. Kevin had me convinced to Royal Rumble with the handcuff spot, like, oh my God, they're putting the title on Kevin. I want Cesaro to get a similar moment out of me, where I, like, well, I know I'm not actually looking at you, but I say to you, like, oh my God, Ashton, he's going to do it. And, like, maybe you're even swept up in it, because I feel like normally you'd be like, no, he's not. But maybe you're so worried, you're like, oh my God, he actually might. And, like, I want us to have that with him. And I don't think he's at the credibility yet that he could give us that moment. But maybe if he beats Seth again, maybe whatever. I don't know. Like, and I think WWE has a similar mindset. So it's weird that we're all seemingly in agreement. I don't trust it. But we'll have to see where they go with it. I'm just so excited. I'm loving the main event scene. Fucking loving the main event scene. This is a great way to end SmackDown because Bryan says I accept. And yeah, Cesaro keeps waiting for his title shot. And by the way, guys, if you're not watching Talking Smack, one, you should, because Heyman's fucking great on it. And this actually has a stacked roster tomorrow because it's going to be Sammy, who you know is fucking gold. I think Bayley, but then what I've been waiting for since all of this started, Cesaro is going to be on Talking Smack tomorrow. And I'm really looking forward to what he's going to have to say to Heyman and just to everybody. So, yeah, this is a great ending to SmackDown. They've got a stacked Talking Smack for tomorrow. And with that said, we get into our next segment, high spots and low shots. I'm going to say my low shot is Seth Rollins.
Uh-huh.
Because, he lost a match, and he actually rage quit midway through it, literally saying, I don't need this.
Yep.
I'm Seth freaking Rollins. If the only assurance you can give yourself is what your name is, you're not Adam Cole, okay? And I mean that in every sense. You can't pull it the fuck off. Simmer down. Get back in the corner and hold the fucking tag rope. But yeah, Seth quit like a bitch. Said his own name like he was Adam Cole. He's not. He's my low shot. Easy does it.
Okay, my low shot is Kevin Owens because he got rolled up, he got Nigerian nailed, and he got danced over.
I want to be upset about this, but you're right. And so I just have to suck it in. All right.
If you were here, I would be patting you on the back saying, it's all right, man. It's all right. We'll get
just hurts, you know. It's not you. It hurts.
Yeah.
So yeah, that happened. Let's not talk about that again. My high spot, like I said, honorary high spot, Pat McAfee. I am fucking loving this dude. He is just bringing so much life to commentary. I care about commentary again. And now that's been a long time coming, caring about commentary again. So great job to McAfee. I hope they keep him for a long while. I hope this isn't another Morrow situation where it's like, oh my God, they're going to have this great thing for years and years and consistent great announcing. How many stories are going to get elevated? And then it's like, I don't know, maybe 2 years later at best. Got another gig, guys, at ESPN. Isn't that funny? We all go there now. It's like WWE retirement. And you know, he just leaves. Like, I really would like Pat to take a deep seat in this because I'm loving him. But my actual high spot to get to that, I'm going to say fucking Brian, honestly. And here's why. It's high stakes. No doubt about it. It's high stakes next week. But he got the pin in the tag match. He did get the winning pin on Jay.
Which is big.
Roman gave him the title opportunity, so Brian didn't have to do anything. And here's the best part, and here's where I get to be kind of an asshole, because Roman gave it to him. All the fans on the internet are going to have a paradox. I don't like Brian being in the title picture, but Roman wanted him in the title picture, and I love Roman. They're like the sweating guy with the rag between the two buttons meme. You're the meme now. Deal with it. So, yeah, I'm going to say Brian because he's getting another Universal title match, and people stay fucking mad. And I love it, and I'm here for it. So, yeah, who is your high spot?
Believe it or not, Tamina.
Ooh, okay.
She had a really good showing. She put on a solid match with a complete shitter. She got a lot of praise on commentary, and she was actually kind of over with the virtual crowd. And she won. Like, that's big, too. So, yeah, Tamina got my high spot.
God, you really have to wonder after working with Bayley, it's like talent through osmosis, which is far less panic-inducing than, oh no, mitosis! So, a little inside joke there. Sorry, guys. But yeah. Wow, we got a dislike. Was it you, Ashton?
Dude, I don't even have the video open. What?
Because we have 7 likes and 1 dislike.
Somebody must have just liked or disliked your mitosis joke, man.
Well, whoever you
deep
are.
Of a cut. People don't get it.
Whoever you are, I'm glad you failed elementary biology, and you're an insensitive feelings herder, and I won't forget this. But with that ominous threat aside, this has been Smackdown. This has been TWitWoW. The best. Gonna bring that energy back down. I was too amped up for that intro. Wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary, Ashton. Guys, be sure to like the video as you file out. The more likes you leave, the more likely we are to be the top result for Friday night SmackDown reviews on YouTube. And when you're the best at what you do, the top is the only place that you belong. Just ask the tribal chief, Roman Reigns. So leave that like. Ooh, I heard that little shiver there. We all caught it. Be sure to subscribe. Oh my God. Be sure to subscribe, click the bell icon so you keep up with all that TWitWoW goodness. Be sure to check out everything we're involved in the description box. Want to pay particular attention to our Patreon? You can check it out in the link below. Check out our price breakdowns to get your own TWitWoW request live. I think we offer very generous packages there. Our most straightforward rewards, for $1, you get 2 additional Q&A questions. Q&A is April 29th. You've got less than a week, guys, because it's the last Thursday of every month. So non-Patreon donors only get 3 Q&A questions. But if you donate $1 right now, you get 2 additional questions. So if you're like, man, you know, I'm a football fan, so I had these questions for Ashton, and I just never understand the philosophy shit that John's talking about, so I'd like him to elaborate on that. And, I mean, I'd like to know about anime that they don't watch. Maybe one day they'll watch it, and then they can answer me more substantively. What's a person to do? For one, George Washington, you can get 2 additional Q&A questions. And it's just, problem solved. Problem solved. However, if I were you, and I'm not, but if you're like me, and I know I am, I would just donate the $3, because with $3, you get access to the TWitWoW Discord, which is an amazing community, you know, full of fun, loving, strongly opinionated people. you know, and it's a great time. And we do Among Us Mondays. You know, we're hip like that. All right, we're may not be always ahead of the curve, but we're on the curve, damn it, and we're riding it all the way. So donate $3, you get the Discord access, and you get the Q&A questions. That's two things. Two things. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Be sure to follow us both on Twitter. I'm at John_TwitWoW. My pinned tweet is collecting your Q&A questions. It's a Q&A question hub, if you will. I think it's the easiest place to submit them. You could always submit them, though, if you wish, to Facebook, YouTube, and our Discord. That is another option, again, with the $3 tier. You want to also follow Ashton on Twitter at Ashton_TwitWoW. His pinned tweet is the TwitWoW schedule for just every month. Obviously, we're in the month of April, so we're going to finish April out. And looking at the schedule now, I am going to update you guys. This is our last recording just for the weekend, because our weekends go Saturday to Monday. So Tuesday is our next recording, 10 p.m. We're going to be having an NXT review. I know that there is going to be a 6-man tag, MSK and Kushida versus LDF. So you'll get our thoughts on that match in the entirety of NXT at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, Tuesday, April 27th. Wednesday, 28th, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. We've got a Stardom, their April 24th show, New Century 2021, Day 7 live reactions. Again, that's at 5 p.m.
That's happening tonight.
Thanks. Thursday the 29th, 7 p.m. Again, it's April Q&A, so you guys are going to want to be there. And then Friday, April 30th, it's Stardom's April 25th, New Century 2021, Day 8 live reactions. And then at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, our Smackdown review as we barrel along to WrestleMania Backlash. So, guys, until Tuesday for our NXT review, be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and until we see each other again, tune in and peace out.